Good morning, everybody. It's Mallory Smythe on behalf of Endow. By this time, we've had the fourth Sunday of Advent, and then we had Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And so I hope that you had a wonderful Christmas. I hope that you got to eat all the food you wanted, get to see the people you wanted to see. I hope you had a great Mass experience and that you were able to give and receive wonderful gifts. I know that whenever I was younger, I would get to the end of Christmas Day, and even if I had had the most perfect day, I would often feel just this tiny ache, this wondering of is it over, and is it as good as it could have been? Am I as good as I could have been? Just these lingering small questions that were in the back of my mind as Christmas was over. And we're lucky as Catholics because Christmas isn't over. Christmas Day is actually just the start of Christmas season, an opportunity for us to dive deeply into what this season actually is. But as I reflect on why I had that ache when I was younger, I just noticed that I focused way too much on the pomp and circumstance of the holiday and what it was supposed to be versus actually focusing on what it truly is. And as I've been thinking about what is Christmas, what truly is Christmas this year, I think it comes down to a story of identities. Who is God really, and who are we really? And see, this actually brings us to our last Christmas Carol. We had a 4-part series on Christmas carols, and our last one is on O Holy Night. And just the main line that I want to focus on in this amazing song is He appeared and the soul felt its worth. Right? He appeared and the soul finally felt its worth. Right there is a story of these two identities. First, of who God is. That God is good. That He saw the world pining, in sin and error pining. And so He appeared, and so He came down. God, first and foremost, is good. And then the next part is that we felt our worth by His goodness. See, when I speak to women, I normally talk about how we as women tend to identify with what we lack or with what other people have bestowed on us. So first, we see what we could be better at. We see what we're not gifted in. And that's how we identify. I'm not this, I'm not that. I could be better at blank. Or people have spoken identities over us throughout our lives, and we've started to believe that identity, and we live out of that. And see, the thing about identity is that it affects everything we do because it is what we believe about ourselves. But the problem with both of those identities is when we were never meant to identify with what we lack. We were meant to identify with who we are. And then the second is that if we accept other people's identity of us and what they deem us to be, it can never be fully right because they can never know us fully. And so we'll actually be identifying ourselves with a half-truth. And we can live for years in that lie of that half-truth. But see, when we come back to He appeared and the soul felt its worth, God created us. He is the only one who knows us fully, inside and out, personally, and as a whole, and as humanity. And He saw what we did in original sin, that we twisted the identities that He had given us, and that we're living out of that twisting. And so He decided to do the untwisting. He decided to come down and reclaim and re-give us the identity that He gave us in the first place. That we are good, that you are good because you are His. We are good because He is good. And that's who He decided that we are, and who are we to say any different? And so this Christmas season, maybe you're feeling wonderful and maybe you're feeling at peace, and I hope that you are. But if you have that ache that I used to have, I would just invite you to look at how you identify yourself. And do you identify with the fact that by this God becoming man, that you are good, that he is settling and has settled the score. So I'd invite you to listen to that song and meditate on he appeared and the soul, your soul, felt its worth. And if you want to dive more into what it means to know your identity and the dignity that God has given you by what he has done for us in his birth, death, and resurrection, I would invite you to dive into an Endow study at www.endowgroups.org. You can connect with us at Endow Groups on Facebook and Instagram, and you can connect with me at Mallory A. Smythe on Instagram. Merry Christmas and have a great week.